smoking too, sipping and roasting. Yeah, that's what we do. Set 'em up, knock 'em down, make that cherry glow. Whiskey and cigars, the gentleman's cologne.
Cheers, y'all. That sounds like a party just about to begin, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this fine radio program, podcast, and video extravaganza known internationally as the world-famous Smoking and Toasting. We are so glad to be coming to you direct from our studios in Houston, Texas, for show number 397, which that has us some carry
the three. That's halfway to 500.
Halfway to 500. We're so thrilled that you're joining us for this show. On today's program, wherein we talk about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
I'm battling my chair. It has two settings, a little too high
that you're,
and a little too low.
Yeah, and it seems to vacillate between the two.
I'm trying here. I'm
Ian go up,
today.
Ian go down.
It might be the ever-sinking chair.
Yeah, it could be. We'll find out in a few moments.
Yes.
as the tension mounts. On today's program, we'll be talking about two major celebrities that have whiskeys. One you're already familiar with, but we're going to be trying a special version of it. The other we don't have a bottle of yet, but we'll talk about it. Metallica's whiskey and Beyonce's.
Beyonce has a whiskey?
Beyonce has a whiskey, and it's a big deal.
Did she sent one
on
over?
Social media.
Beyonce is a pretty big deal.
She did not send one over. Yeah, she kind of is, isn't she?
We probably need to call her and be like, hey, we're from Houston too.
Yeah. Come on the show. So we'll talk about Beyonce and Metallica's whiskeys, and we'll also talk about the best tequilas under $40.
Mm-hmm.
Since 40 has kind of become the mid-water mark, I think, for tequilas,
40's
right?
the new 20.
Yeah, 40s. It certainly is. It's at the very least, it's the new 28. Like I remember, I used to be able to get great tequilas for $28, and that's not something that happens all that often anymore. But we'll talk about it. Under 40, still manageable. We'll talk about that. We'll bring you all kinds of cool and fun things, I think, to talk about, including some cigars to watch for this week. Oh, and some really bad news. Remember when we had the bad news a few weeks ago about the Jose Cuervo tequila factory that caught on fire and there was an explosion? Well, now, and this might be even more alarming, the Aganorsa factory in Nicaragua has gone up in flames.
No.
And it's that doesn't just affect Aganorsa leaf cigars, which that would be bad enough.
They supply
but these guys supply
tobacco.
a lot of tobacco to a lot of tobacco.
How did that happen?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll tell you the story.
Devastating.
Yeah, it's not a great thing. And I don't know, are you familiar with the R&B sensation October London? He's a fairly recent
I'd have to say no.
emerging R&B star, but he's becoming like a big deal on the charts. He has teamed up with Plasencia to do a cigar lounge tour, which I think sounds like one of the coolest ideas ever.
Yes.
You're sitting in the cigar lounge, you lighting up a cigar, you're smoking with your buddies, and over in the corner, October London is singing some smooth soul and R&B sounds. I love this idea.
Awesome.
I love this idea so much. Plus, we always tell you the bad news on this program about cigar prices going up. Rocky Patel is lowering prices on one of his
I love that.
outstanding lines of cigars. So thank you for that. Any excuse we can find for the fanfare is a...
Hey, that deserves fanfare if you're going to lower your prices.
Yeah. Speaking of the fanfare, we will bring you a drinking fact on today's program. And our drinking fact teaser is 30% of the world is out of their freaking minds.
No, that's only 30%.
Yeah, that's kind of low.
I should have said at least 30%. Plus, we'll also bring you the most popular segment on this program. It happens a little later in the show, second hour, but it's the thing that we like to call drinking news. And we have our drinking news teaser headline for today. Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? So we'll get to that. Plus, we'll try to tell you. We were going to talk about this last week. Summer is waning fast, my friends. My wife was just in Washington D.C. Visiting Adam, our producer, his wife, and leaves are already falling there. It's already like full-fledged, beginning of autumn. Even here in our hometown of Houston, the temperatures have been a little bit.
It dropped down below 95,
and it's only partially because of an impending hurricane. So that's
right.
That's
what it takes.
A good thing, yeah. So
we'll take it though.
So it's almost the end of summer, but we do have the Cigar Aficionado list of 13 long cigars to smoke this summer, and you're probably going to want to get started on one of these like today because summer is fast.
Yeah. So the last few nights have been so nice sitting outside because it's been 80 and sometimes even dipping below.
And that's not a bad time to smoke a long cigar. So we'll try to get to that. Try to get to that list as well. And of course, we'll tell you about the best tequilas under $40, according to some tequila experts. So looking forward to getting to all of that. You want to do the drinking fact? Is it time for that?
Oh, we're going to do the drinking fact?
Yeah, I figure we might as well.
And now it's time for another smoking and toasting drinking fact.
He's getting pretty good at that.
And the fanfare just doesn't get old, does it?
No.
It doesn't. I kept thinking, we'll abandon this after a few weeks. No.
Oh, no.
Now we just need a reason to keep that fanfare going.
In fact, I went out this week and hunted down a whole bunch more new drinking facts so we could keep this thing going for a little bit longer. Yeah. Today's drinking fact is, and this is true, as all of the drinking facts are supposed to be, almost 30% of the alcohol consumed in the world is moonshine.
Oh,
Wow.
well, okay.
I had no idea that was still that much of a thing.
Now,
Right?
I'll tell you this.
Well, I guess moonshine is, it's what you make at home.
Yeah,
It's not exactly toilet wine, but,
yeah, it's close. I mean, it depends on the moonshine, I suppose. But, I'm a person that does enjoy alcoholic beverages. And I can tell you, I'm not a fan of the moonshine.
I haven't bathed in 4 weeks to make this.
Yeah. To me, moonshine is what you drink. And the only purpose for it, it's not for the enjoyment of the spirit. It's because you want to get hammered.
I've actually had some moonshine that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I have.
And
I have no idea who made it.
And do you have any
did not
idea
go
what was in
blind.
it? You have any idea what was in it?
No, but it was like an apple kind of moonshine.
Have you
like
seen the ones at
spiced apple moonshine?
the store that are there's some sort of moonshine shake or something like that I'm seeing at the front of Specs or something that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that may just be a branding thing. They're figuring if 30% of the alcohol consumed in the world is moonshine, we ought to try and get our piece of that.
Let's jump on
Let's
that.
jump on that trend, that bandwagon. The closest thing I really have ever had in any quantity that to moonshine would have been back in college when we used to make trash can punch. Did you ever do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly Everclear.
So
Some other stuff thrown in.
to my
So if you sell it in the store,
hangover.
does that lose the moonshine then? Because
they
it's
sell
not made
jars
at
of
home?
moonshine. I mean,
it kind of does.
Yeah.
moonshine's that's like part of the process for whiskey, though, right? You distill it to a certain degree,
And then it's moonshine.
and it's just moonshine, right?
But see, I thought for moonshine you had to drive down into the holler
Yeah.
to get some. By the way, why is something called a holler? Why is that a geographical point of interest?
Right?
I'm not really sure. But anyway,
That's right over there by the bluff.
so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was
And the
today's drinking fact. All right. People are going to start emailing us going, will you stop with that?
What is wrong with you people?
I did mention, by the way, we're going to be doing some very interesting tasting on today's program. We talked about the whiskey, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, the beer. From Galveston Bay Brewing, we'll be trying their watermelon wheat.
Watermelon wheat.
Yeah. Again, into summer, kind of the watermelon season about to pass us by. So a good time to kind of sneak this one in before the end of the summer. Galveston Bay Brewing is located in Clear Lake Shores, Texas. And we've had some of their beers on before, and they've been quite good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've done. They did a pumpkin beer, didn't they? A while
Yes,
back
they did.
too. That was
Yeah.
good.
And they had a Christmas beer we had one year that I
And they have a tiki beer, I think, too.
Oh yes, that's so good.
Yes.
I love their tiki beer. Another brewery that we have had on the show a number of times, but it's been a long time since we've had a beer from Evil Twin Brewing in New York, New York. Evil Twin, you may remember, they're that brewery that always has the long and interesting beer names. Today's beer is called, do you guys ever stay up late thinking about double dry hopped double IPA?
So it's a rhetorical name.
Yeah, it's a rhetorical name. Although to be fair, in the title they do abbreviate it. So it's, do you guys ever stay up late thinking about DDHD IPA? But I thought if I read it that way, it might sound like we were being too
I ordered
cool.
some cigars a while back, and in the package with the cigars came a sticker.
Yeah.
And it has what looks like the dude.
Oh, yeah.
On there smoking a cigar that says, I wonder if cigars think about me.
I love that. I love that. That must have been from Cigar Page.
Yeah, I think so.
Love that. And finally, a brewery we have featured a number of times on this program, Firestone Walker Brewing Company out of Marina Del Rey, California. We'll be trying their 2024 Parapajamas.
Parapajamas.
And in
is
fairness,
it P-A-R-A?
Yes, it's
Yes, of course it
P-A-R-A.
is.
Parapajamas, all one word, Parapajamas. It is an Imperial Milk Stout, and we will be trying that on the program today. It's one of their like special releases. They put it out, and it comes in the little, the little box.
In the box,
and
right,
it just
right.
looks
like the Velvet Merkin
as
and
classy as it can probably be.
All of those.
And then for the whiskey, Metallica's Blackened Cask Strength, but this is a special bottle that you bought that apparently was a Total Wine Cask.
Yeah, this is a Total Wine exclusive batch. So it's the barrel select is.
It looks like it was a blended whiskey, but it was finished in brandy casks. So that should be very interesting. And
black brandy casks.
Now, does that have Dave Pickerel's name on the bottle?
It does.
It's interesting because Rob Dietrich is the guy doing Blackened whiskey now that Dave has passed on, but interesting that they still have Dave Pickerel's name.
The Blackened whiskey, I think this is just the regular Blackened whiskey, but it is a barrel pick. So instead of a blend of the barrels to make the flavor profile exact, they have a barrel pick saying, you know what, we liked this particular barrel of it. So,
I can't wait to see what they liked.
Yeah, which is common practice. And I mean, it's still a mystery, of course.
How much of it is missing?
Never mind the evaporative qualities of this whiskey bottle.
I was waiting for that. Ian brought this week's whiskey in, so I was not expecting it to still be full or sealed. And in fact, an interesting story is that was it last week when we had our special guest on from Angel's Envy?
Yes.
Yeah. So we thought for
2 weeks ago, but
2 weeks ago, we thought for a little while before the show that she wasn't going to be able to make it because she was in traffic court.
That's right. She's stuck
and
in
so
traffic
Ian
court.
said, I'll go and buy some whiskey. So if she doesn't make it, we'll have a whiskey for the show. And you went and bought this. That was 2 weeks ago. Half the bottle's gone.
Yeah.
Half the bottle's gone actually the night after. I've been having to save it.
Oh boy.
That's what I thought.
He's been restraining himself. You're lucky that much is left.
I'm going to consider myself.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm going to consider myself very lucky. All right. We are almost out of time for our first segment here. So when we come back, we will try this week's bomb. It's the Beverage O Mystery. And Ian has brought it in this week, and it's sitting here taunting me with its peach-colored fizz.
It is very peachy looking.
So we'll be right back to try it. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. We'll be right back. Welcome back with Terry Michaels, our man on the wheels of steel, with Adam in the Sky, our producer. And my name is Cruz. My co-host is Ian Barry. And this is Smoking and Toasting. We're all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Or it's close to time.
Close to time.
We're moments away from it being time.
There it is.
The Beverage of Mystery.
So the Beverage of Mystery is a segment on the show where one of us will bring in a beverage of some sort, usually an alcoholic beverage, but it could be a beer, could be a wine, could be a hard seltzer.
I mean, you
could
brought
be
in a
canned cocktail.
THC thing one time.
Yeah, I did. And so the only one of us who knows what it is the person that brought it. And Ian is the Beverage of Mystery sponsor. He what brung it.
It smells pleasant.
Ian brung it today, and it's already been poured, and I have no idea what it is, but it definitely looks peach colored. It's
peach apricot type nose.
Definitely carbonated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing this is a hard seltzer, but I think most of the hard seltzers I'm used to are not. They don't have a hue to them. They're more
that
clear.
color. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is more. Yeah, exactly. This has real peach in it.
It's peachy.
It is peachy.
Oh, you know what? That's not bad.
It's peachy enough that I almost like it.
I haven't actually tried this, even though I am he what brung it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It is. The peach, the tartness of the peach or apricot or whatever it is we're tasting in there is almost enough to mask that little bit
there's
of
a
aftertaste.
Hint of it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot with seltzers and
that's what
some other beverages is that the taste of them is usually pretty good, but sometimes that saccharine aftertaste is just impossible to get past. In this, as it was in the Cayman Jack margarita things that we had, the flavor, the tartness, almost enough to mask that and not make it feel too much like you're having a Zima.
Especially right there, that what you're saying, that tartness at the end, you really get it. You really get a blast of it at the end.
And I realize how old I sound when I mentioned Zima.
You mentioned Zima.
But when I was
do you remember how carbonated that stuff was? Like,
oh my God.
Really,
it was 17 burps a bottle.
Yeah,
for sure.
So carbonated.
This is pretty good.
Over carb.
Yeah. This is actually pretty good.
Are we ready for the reveal? The portion of the segment we call, is that a mystery beverage or a beverage of mystery in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
I'm guessing you're happy to see me.
This is called Long Drink.
Oh, so Long Drink is one of the more popular canned cocktail lines, if I'm not mistaken.
The Finnish Long Drink.
The Finnish.
This is apparent Finnish from Finland.
Oh, yes, right. Long Drink is okay. And we've had their like just their regular long drink seltzer on the show.
Right. So this is just one of the flavored ones. This is the peach flavored one. And I hadn't tried it. I bought some for my wife. She likes the long drink one. I don't know that she liked this one all that much, but actually I think this one tastes okay it's
actually pretty good
in the scheme of things. Like, it's not undrinkable.
Like it is
this is apparently let's see, I'll read right off the website. Our story begins in Finland in 1952. The country was still recovering from World War II and was preparing to host the 1952 Summer Games, wanting to welcome the global visitors, but concerned with how to serve them drinks fast enough. The government commissioned the creation of a refreshing and revolutionary liquor drink, and thus the first long drinks were born. So they started putting this in a can not too long ago, and then they started coming out with some different flavors.
If you go to your favorite beverage store wherever you live, you're probably going to notice that, like me, there is now at least one aisle and maybe more devoted to canned cocktails and hard seltzers. It's really become
the industry would refer to them as RTEs.
Now, I would say this though,
ready to drink.
From all that I am reading, that segment of the industry is beginning to slow down. Like it was like a thing that was cranking up for a little while, and it may have peaked.
Yeah,
which doesn't mean it's going away.
I could see that. I mean, it really hit a big era back in like 2019, 2018, 2019. It hit it really hard. And I think everybody took it home for the pandemic. And then afterwards, it still does. But I think it hit the ceiling on it.
So here's what I've noticed, though, at my building's pool this summer. Because a lot of people go down to the pool, especially on the hotter days. And, you would see them down there with, cans of beer or whatever. You're not allowed to have glass down there, but you can have cans. I have noticed that what I would refer to as the bro community. And by this, I'm talking about guys who are in the pool swimming with a baseball cap backwards on their head.
Yes.
Yeah, the bro community. A lot of guys drinking seltzers and canned cocktails. And that kind of surprised me because I always think of those things as more targeted towards women. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot of High Noon.
Lots of High Noon.
A lot of High Noon. A lot of White Claw. Yeah, for sure. But I've just noticed a lot of it, and it I don't know. It's just something I didn't think it was quite macho enough for the bro crowd. Is what I'm getting.
You would think, but
I would think they'd be more like Bear. I like Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the beer they're drinking is macro brew anyway.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, or at least I like things that are marketed as beer.
That's actually not bad when you're looking at that cooler and it's ultra or a White Claw.
Yeah,
you might just.
I got to be honest. That would be polarizing for me. I'm not sure where I would go.
Pretty much White Claw for me.
I might just chew ice.
Yeah. This long drink peach though, not bad.
It's not bad. No.
We're going to take a break while we chew a little ice, and when we come back, Ian will tell us about.
It's not overly sweet either.
Had the opportunity. Yeah, that's why it's better. We'll find out what Ian had the opportunity to smoke this week. We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Speaking of craft beer, our show beer on the program today is brought to you by the wonderful brewery, Eureka Heights, right here in the greater Houston area. They provided our show beers for the day.
Thank you. Just north of I-10 if you're driving through.
We've had them on the show before, and Joel Swift from Eureka Heights has been on.
Yes.
Although every time we didn't want to have Joel on today. We could have had him on. He could have actually presented us with the show beer, but it's kind of a standing rule that every time we have Joel on the show, we have to do really, really like.
So this guy has spirits. One of the best beer palates that I know of.
Yeah, and so we always have him on to drink.
So
bottom shelf.
We always make him taste terrible things.
It's just one of those things, but
Eureka Heights. They came through. I went by there last night. I picked up some beer from them for the show, and here we are.
I'd like to thank you for having at least some of it reach us here at the program, since I know you picked it up last night.
I picked up 2 cases.
Yeah, exactly.
I noticed half of one of those pallets was gone.
Yeah, exactly. So celebrity spirits are becoming a bigger and bigger deal. In fact, I think we're going to start a new segment on the program called Celebrities Who Have Not Released a Celebrity Spirit. Because I think that'll be a shorter.
Pretty soon we'll be like, a better list. So what celebrity had that whiskey?
Right, exactly. Right. Well, this whiskey's not too bad. Which celebrity's from?
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about 2 celebrity whiskeys on the program today.
Yeah.
Beyonce's new whiskey, which is getting a lot of attention. And then we're going to be tasting a barrel pick from Blackened, which is Metallica's new whiskey. So, not new, but
it's been out a little while. But man, it's a solid whiskey. And this is fun because it's a barrel pick. So it's a little bit different than the one you just grab off the shelf.
In addition to Metallica and Beyonce, a couple of new celebrity spirits coming out. Country star Dierks Bentley is debuting his first whiskey. It's called Row 94, and it is made at the historic Green River Distilling Company in Owensboro, Kentucky. So I'm at least glad that some of these people seem to be teaming up. Some of these celebs seem to be teaming up with reputable distillers. That definitely increases the chances that their juice might be something good. Of course, we had Chris Stapleton's whiskey on the program, Traveler, which I thought was quite good. And then Baltimore Spirits Company has collaborated with rapper Ja Rule to create Amber and Opal. I think this is why
but he has a whiskey now.
That's why he's gotten into the whiskey business. They've created Amber and Opal, a honey botanical whiskey that will be coming out this winter.
Mercy.
Yeah, I don't know about this, huh?
Yeah.
In a new release, they described
anytime you put the word botanical, if it doesn't have to do with gin.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little sketchy to me.
Well, here's what the makers of Amber and Opal said. They described it as a botanical spirit made with Maryland straight rye whiskey, honey, and a blend of teas. I didn't make that up. That's what the press release said.
Ja Rule. Yeah. We need to talk, man.
How long has it been since Ja Rule
goes down as smooth as Ja Rule's voice?
I remember Ja Rule fondly, but now I'm starting to, I'm like, what happened, man?
But it's been a while. And Danish hard rock band Volbeat have unveiled their very own Outlaw Gentleman Irish Whiskey.
Oh.
So they're Danish, but they've gone with an Irish whiskey, which I think is
Outlaw Gentleman.
Yeah. It's straight from Ireland's legendary Great Northern Distillery. And Volbeat Outlaw Gentleman comes in 2 editions, a triple distilled Irish whiskey, which is the standard edition, and then a double distilled Irish whiskey that's been aged for 12 years.
Oh.
So...
Okay.
We have to try some of these things.
I'm interested in that, man. There's been some really good Irish whiskeys coming out recently.
I'll buy a bottle of the Dirks Bentley. You buy the Ja Rule honey.
Oh, no, jeez. Does it come in the little?
He says, "I'll buy Volbeat."
The little flask.
Yeah. And of course, we'll get to the Beyonce and the Metallica a little bit later on in the program. But first, I thought I'd ask you, Ian, as the week has gone by, have you had the opportunity to smoke anything interesting?
I did. I did my usual routine this morning, where I pulled up to Casa de Monte Cristo, and they were closed.
Oh, really? Why are they closed? Is it a holiday?
They had a sign on the door. They're closed for inventory purposes.
Oh, I hate when they do inventory.
I was like, oh, man. So I was like, you know what's close to here? Stogies. So I went down the road to Stogies. I need to talk to them anyway, as we should be having a show coming up there pretty quickly. Cool. More on that later. But anyway, I walked through their humidor, which is fun because it's not the same humidor that I walk through every week.
Oh, yeah.
And so you get to see some new cigars and some stuff you haven't had. They had a brand new cigar came out from Alec Bradley called Safekeepings.
I've heard about this cigar, but I don't know anything about it.
So on the website, it says Alec Bradley Safekeepings is the first rediscovered recipe kept safe in the Alec Bradley Founders Blend Book.
Oh, yes. So, I think we talked about this coming out. Yeah.
Right. So this looks like it's going to be a series. That sounds like a setup for a sequel right there.
I love it.
I'm happy with that. Like sometimes I'm not so happy with the sequel setup, but like Matrix thing is a little weird. But
yeah, but the John Wick sequels are pretty good.
Yeah. I just wish those had some action within the first 5 minutes of them.
But they do star Keanu Reeves, who is, and I think you guys will agree with me on this, the best bad actor since William Shatner.
He's fantastic, and he's apparently the nicest guy.
That's what I understand.
Ever.
He's not a great actor, but he's just awesome.
I mean, he nailed it in Bill and Ted's.
Kind of like William Shatner. He's not a great actor, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Back to the sequel cigars.
I picked up the Robusto size. This is a 5x52 Nicaraguan Puro. 100% Nicaraguan.
I'm loving it already.
The appearance, milk chocolate colored wrapper, oily and leathery with some veins, uneven surface and uneven firmness, single band. With the picture on the band's real cool. Definitely look that up. You can probably see that in the picture right here. The pre-light sniff on this rich mocha, earth and barnyard. Pre-light draw, I used a V-cut. It had a nice, easy draw to it. Tangy leather on the lips, sweet cacao and dark cherry.
Nice.
Is what I was drawing through there.
I'm liking it already.
Pardon me. The initial light on this. MPB makes me feel fine. Okay, that's all I'm moving. Yeah, Nicaraguan Pepper Blast, 100%. I mean, this is 100% Nicaraguan Puro. Of course, you're going to have the Nicaraguan Pepper Blast. With sweet brownie batter and tangy leather hanging onto it. It was wonderful. The retrohale is spicy pepper with oak. Now, let me go ahead and point this out. If you're a little new to smoking cigars or you like a milder cigar in general, the retrohale might want to go into that gentle because it will burn your nose.
Yeah. Some of these Nicaraguan puros have a little too spicy.
Yeah, it'll burn you. I mean, you'll feel like you just had wasabi in your nose, right?
Yep.
The first third of this, bold notes of leather and pepper with a gritty, sweet undertone of brownie batter, oak, and dark cherry. The retrohale is peppery and sweet with oak, solid ash, perfect burn. Proposed pairing, sweet and bold whiskey, something like a Stag Junior or a Wild Turkey rare breed, something along in that Wild Turkey line is going to be great. Even the 101 would be amazing. And I also put Irish coffee, would probably go well with it, or like a gin and tonic. Maybe.
Irish coffee is just coffee with whiskey in it, right? Is that what Irish coffee is?
That's what I call it.
Yeah. By definition, yeah.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Let's see. The second third of this rich and gritty brownie batter remains consistent. Pepper stays present. Spice backs off a bit. Lets leather and fermented hay shine through. Notes of earth coffee mocha and a kiss of cayenne weave throughout. Retrohale is sweet oak and leather with a pepper backbone. Solid ash, perfect burn. The last third of the cigar, a touch of meaty broth, kind of threads its way to the front, making this a complete meal experience. I mean, this has been like this is a bold cigar, but it has a little bit of everything. And when I say bold, the flavors are very bold, but it doesn't actually, satisfying mouthfuls of dense, rich smoke deliver a medium plus strength overall. It never gets quite to full, but it's pretty big. Mm-hmm. It's very, very bold on the flavors. The retrohale is sweet and woody with pepper, solid ash, perfect burn. You can see that burn in this last picture right here. This one comes in at $12 ish.
Yeah.
Right, solid 5, 100%. This is going to be a go-to for me.
Wow,
at that price point. This will be a go-to. I absolutely love the experience. Alec Bradley safekeepings, so good, and I can't wait to try the other sizes of it as well.
I totally want to try this. Well, for my cigar this week, I smoked, and I know this is going to shock you, the H. Upmann Nicaragua Heritage by A.J. Fernandez in the Toro size.
I've had that.
Now, listen, for the last several months, I have been jumping through hoops on this program, trying not to just come off like some A.J. Fernandez fanboy, and I've been trying to find a lot of different non-AJ things to smoke and review here on the show.
Which is difficult to do because AJ's everywhere.
I was just about to say, it wasn't easy, as with more than a couple of them, I'd already lit up and started jotting down notes for the review before I look it up and find out, oh, guess what? The blend for the cigar I've chosen originated with AJ, or it was rolled at his factory, or he was hiding in the background when the cigar was created. Something. Right. It's like AJ. I even thought about doing like a picture book for cigar lovers with drawings of farms and factories and rolling rooms with AJ drawn into them somewhere. Instead of Where's Waldo,
Where's
AJ, But on today's show, I am out and out choosing to review an AJ Fernandez creation. Now, I recently bought a box of this particular cigar, which has been out for a couple of years, and I just have to talk to you about this one. It is the H. Upmann, Nicaragua Heritage by A.J. Fernandez. A.J.'s done several cigars for H. Upmann. The first one in 2017, which I love and still smoke regularly. Then they did the 175th anniversary in 2019, which is a special occasion cigar for me. And now the Nicaragua Heritage. It is a Toro 6x54, the one I smoked, rolled with filler and binder from AJ's Farms in Nicaragua, wrapped in an absolutely gorgeous oily Brazilian Matafina leaf wrapper that is the color of dark chocolate. I used a punch and took my first cold draw. Deep earth and hints of chocolate, not surprising for an AJ blend, but also a little bit of sweetness and a tangy note that was a little like pepper and a little like citrus.
I'm reading through my review of it while you're reading your review.
Yeah. How are we doing? Are we on?
I got Earth Barnyard, sweet bread, and dark fruit on that pre-light draw. Yeah.
Nice.
It's interesting some of the flavors that we catch together.
I was excited to get it going, so I lit up and started puffing. And I did get a short but sweet visit from our old cigar smoking friend with the terrible song, the Nicaraguan Pepper Blast.
MBB makes me feel fine.
But it was almost a mini blast because it settled down very quickly and it didn't last for long. Deep earth notes were the big headline for the first third. Black pepper, that settled down quite a bit as the cigar started to burn. And a creamy sweetness that kind of pulled all of the flavors together in a wonderful way. The burn started off a little wavy, but corrected itself with no help from me and stayed razor straight for the rest of the cigar. The second third brought chocolate, actually almost more like a powdered cocoa to the front, still balanced by the pepper and the sweetness. A nice, rich, leathery note weaved its way into the mix as well and left a little hint of salt on my tongue, which is very pleasant, by the way. That balance of savory and sweet hung on into the final third, where the strength of the Nicaragua Heritage bumped up from medium to medium full, right in my sweet spot. Chocolate, earth, pepper, dried fruit, almost like dates or raisins, brought the sweetness, and the pepper showed up just enough to keep it interesting. I paired it with a George Dickel Single Barrel Select and it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think this cigar would work well with something a little overproofed as well. I can only imagine that the cinnamon notes of something like Angel's Envy would match wonderfully with this baby as well. One last thought. I was surprised by how different the H. Upmann Nicaragua Heritage by A.J. Fernandez was from the regular H. Upmann by A.J. Fernandez, which I smoke on a regular basis. To be clear, though, I love them both. They're just very different.
Yeah.
This is a $9 to $10 cigar, although you can find them for a little less from time to time online. But even at $9 to $10, AJ has created another thing of beauty.
Now, which size did you smoke?
The Toro.
Okay, so I smoked the Churchill. It's interesting to see there's a little departures in a couple spots. But yeah.
Well, this one's going to be a regular in my humidor from now on.
It was a great cigar.
At 9 to 10, price to quality 6.5 for me.
Ooh.
This was a very, very pleasant cigar. And you know what I really liked about it? It was medium to full, especially by the time I finished it. It had pepper throughout, but it was never like overpowering. It just had this nice sort of like creamy smoothness to it that just kept it being very smokable all the time.
And you didn't have to text AJ and tell him you were cheating on him with other cigars.
Yeah, well, but this was an AJ, so I was right in. But I would just say, for someone who has smoked milder cigars that is looking to bump up a little, but not be like overwhelmed by something potentially more harsh, this would be
a little too spicy or
this would be a good candidate. You get the spice, but it's not going to bowl you over. You get a little blast right at the beginning, and then it settles down, and it's a beautiful smoking experience. I mean, I wanted to say this cigar reminded me of why I enjoy cigars so much.
That was super fun, like reading through my review of it while you read yours. That was very fun.
And we found some of the same things.
Yeah, some of the same things, and not a whole lot like departure, but some difference.
But did you get the boysenberry? Did you get
the boysenberry that was grown on the east side of the of the hill?
Yeah. We're going to take a break, my friends, and we will be right back. Boysenberry or not, it's Smoking and Toasting. Oh, that's so nice. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars.
Okay, Scoob, what do you smell?
That's a weird smell is what it is.
Yeah. So Ian just opened our watermelon wheat from Galveston Bay Brewing. The fragrance is permeating the studio.
I'm not sure that the smell is good.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, we just kind of wrapped up something that tasted very different.
You know, it smells fruity, but it also smells like kind of bad.
I don't know. See, watermelon's one of those things. It's like, I love actual watermelon, but I don't particularly enjoy watermelon.
All right, so when you put your nose in it, there's a little bit of like old socks going on.
But it is very watermelon.
It's watermelon. I smell watermelon. I mean, I
get watermelon, but man, when I opened that can, there was some old socks in there.
It was the top.
You know, I find that it's...
And I'm not talking about the old socks that you people that like can wear shoes without socks wear. I'm talking about like my old socks.
I don't know. I'm kind of picking up that it's like strawberries.
Yeah, there was a weird
summer evening.
There was a weird thing going on.
And it sounds just like a song.
When I popped it, pardon me. Oh. When I popped it open, there was a strange note on that.
Mm-hmm. All right,
when you put your nose right up to it,
it's watermelon.
It's very watermelon and not very beer. There's very very maybe
it's fascinating.
Yeah, it smells watermelony.
Have you tasted it?
But that first note, it's kind of like it's when you open up like turkey lunch meat package, there's a little bit of off smell.
Wow.
Or like this happens sometimes. Like I like broccoli. But sometimes when my wife is preparing broccoli for dinner, the smell of it is not good.
Smells like a fart.
Right. It's definitely
maybe it's just something like that.
But then you eat it and it's delicious, So I don't know what that's about. But what do you think of the taste of this?
Well, it doesn't taste like it initially, but it's funny because that smell is kind of...
It's not as strong as the smell, though. When you taste it, when you smell it, you smell only watermelon. But when you taste it, you taste beer.
So right up front, the flavor is actually pretty good. There's a salty, there's a salinity to it. There's a
You do taste that hint of that
a little bit of
watermelon.
a salted watermelon.
It's about the third thing you taste before you.
But there's something on the finish on this that's not jiving with me at all. There's something in the aftertaste that I think it's turned.
Well, I'm just going to say this. I think watermelon is a very difficult flavor to capture in things that are not actually watermelon.
I will point out that this does not taste like watermelon flavor. This tastes like watermelon. Like,
agree.
Yeah.
But if you think about things like I was saying a moment ago, I love watermelon, but I've never had like a watermelon candy that I thought was good at all. Like the watermelon Jolly Ranchers and stuff like that. I can't deal. That does not taste like watermelon to me. It tastes like a artificial watermelon-ish.
Yeah, see,
candy.
there's still a little. Smell the can. There's still a little of that nose in the can.
Smell the can. Wasn't that a Spinal Tap album?
No, that was Smell the Glove. And I don't see what the problem is. She's just smelling the glove.
By the way, Spinal Tap is coming back. Did you know this?
Oh,
yeah.
There's like a new movie coming out, right?
Yes.
Oh, I want to see that.
So excited.
I love that.
I'm just as God made me, sir. To me, one of the greatest like stills you could take from any movie is when Spinal Tap is touring and they walk into the theater and the marquee says real big puppet show, and then underneath Spinal Tap. They were second to the puppet show. I love that.
Good on you for Lenny and Squiggy, for Lenny having such a good career.
Oh, listen, Michael
Who would have
McKean.
thought that?
I love me some Michael McKean. Brilliant in Better Call Saul. He was obviously great in Spinal Tap. He's been great in everything he's
I just
ever
saw
done.
him in Earth Girls Are Easy yesterday.
He's the man. I love Michael McKean.
Airheads.
I would say I'm glad that we tasted this watermelon wheat. I'm kind of enjoying it, but I don't think I'll be buying it.
So on the interesting side, okay, so let's get rid of that bad smell that it had at first. The more it sits here, the less of that, and even on the aftertaste, the less of that I'm picking up.
You just need to let it breathe.
There's something in the aftertaste that I did not like at all in the beginning of this. Now it's either pummeled my tongue into submission or it's breathed enough.
There's possibly that. Yeah. I'm totally with you.
Now, I don't think I would reach for this again. This is not my favorite thing from them.
I've enjoyed tasting it, and I've loved some of their beers. I don't think I'd be buying a six.
And they did a good job of the watermelon
I'm curious,
flavor.
though. I would tell you this. If I went to the brewery, I would totally try this on tap.
Sure.
I would love to try this on tap, and I bet this is amazing if you're eating like crawfish
or like really salty chips,
or like some some like empanadas or something.
I'm with you.
Something really good, salty chips, like you said, nachos.
Bit of sad news to pass along: a tobacco processing facility owned by Aganorsa Leaf in Esteli, Nicaragua, caught fire earlier this week and burned into the night, destroying. And I'm getting a little choked up. I'm sorry. Thousands of pounds of raw leaf intended for premium cigars. It was located on the Pan American Highway some miles away from the actual Aganorsa Leaf factory, which is good. But it was a facility that housed a lot of tobacco. And by the way, the Aganorsa Leaf factory not only produces, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Aganorsa Leaf cigars, but also well-known brands.
Is so good.
Illusione, Warped. So video from the scene showed a fire raging out of control, smoke billowing high into the air. The place that burned is known casually as a pre-industria. The facility that burned down was used for sorting, fermenting, and aging raw barn-cured tobacco. And I'm just glad that it wasn't.
The question is, did the fire happen naturally? Because I know, like, when you have a pile of organic material, that the fermenting process creates heat.
Yeah.
And that can overheat and literally start a fire.
I think my question would be, if you were living in that general area and you walked outside and the smoke was wafting by, would it be enjoyable?
The retro hail was great.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Aganorsa says that its loss is significant, but that the other tobacco processing facilities in Nicaragua should guarantee that the operations can continue smoothly. But still, it's kind of a sad thing.
Yeah.
I'm bummed anytime a tobacco leaf is burning and I'm not the one who set fire to it at the end of the stick. Yeah. So, all right. We got to take a break. We will be back. More to taste, more to talk about, including Beyonce's whiskey coming up. It is Smoking and Toasting. I just like to point out it's only taken us like 397 episodes, but you've gotten really good at the sound effects of opening beers and spirits.
Well, it's 390 something episodes. If you do the math,
yeah,
and you consider not only is that halfway to 500, but that's a minimum of 3 beers per episode that I'm opening.
Right.
My beer opening finger,
yeah. It's gotten quite a workout.
It, dude.
It's gotten quite a workout. Your beer opening finger's a 10 out of 10 for sure.
That's right. Yeah. It's actually, if you look at it, it's slightly more muscular than my other fingers.
Remember how Rachel Hunter did her got her legs insured? Maybe you should get your
beer opening finger.
Beer opening finger.
Welcome back, my friends. It's Smoking a Toast, and our show's all about craft beer, beer opening fingers, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. So speaking of spirits, by the way, I'm going to read this from the article in Pace Magazine. There are celebrity spirits, and then there are celebrity spirits, and then there's Beyonce's celebrity spirit.
And then there's Beyonce.
Yeah. Anybody who follows the American liquor industry knows that these releases have flooded store shelves in the recent years, to the point that very few of them actually attract much industry attention at this point. It's why we've consolidated them into like a single report now on the show. Like, here's the new celebrity spirits this week, right? But
they should probably just start having like a separate section in the liquor store. This is
the celebrity spirits
because we have Texas whiskeys,
right? Yeah,
we have Irish whiskeys.
Sure, we have
all the other whiskeys.
Yeah, bourbon.
And then there should be like and then there should be celebrity whiskey.
Well, I would just say the American whiskey from Beyonce is going to get some eyes on it. It is called, and it already, if you Google Sir Davis American Whiskey, Sir Davis is one word, Sardavis. Sir Davis American Whiskey, you'll get thousands of articles and mentions of this on the internet already.
Sir Davis.
It is a collaboration of Queen Bee herself and Moet Hennessy, and it is immediately set up to become one of the biggest celebrity spirits launches ever, as they are, going to crank this baby out. It's going to be a big deal. The brand is named after Davis Hogue, who is Beyonce's paternal great-grandfather, a farmer and Prohibition-era moonshiner. There's moonshine showing up again, who operated in Alabama in the early 1900s. That's a handy bit of family history that Beyonce obviously is leveraging a little bit for the spirit. But the product can be safely said to bear just about 0% of similarity to what her great-grandfather actually distilled or ever encountered in her life. But apparently, and Terry was asking me about this off the air, it's like, Beyonce and whiskey, really? Why didn't she just do like a craft seltzer or something? Yeah. And the answer is that apparently Beyonce is a well-known Japanese whiskey enthusiast.
Wow.
There is also no similarity to Japanese whiskey in the Sir Davis American whiskey. But Sir Davis American whiskey is it is American. It's sourced from Indiana. And it's technically a rye whiskey, although notably rather, it's not made from the most common 95% rye, 5% malted barley rye recipe that's been found in so many source products over the years. This is a much more uncommon rye mash bill. It's 51% rye, 49% malted barley, and no corn. That effectively makes it a rye and malt whiskey hybrid, a product that first looks like a Kentucky-style rye until you see how much barley is in there. Now, I don't think this is actually out yet. It's coming. But looking forward to, I don't know, we'll definitely buy a bottle and have it here on the show so we can tell. Ian, you're halfway through your research already on our IPA, and this is from Evil Twin.
Do you like breakfast cereal?
That can't be a title for an Evil Twin beer because it's too short. You would have to say something like,
I'm sorry.
Do you like breakfast cereal when you
sipping on a beer first thing in the day and thinking about breakfast cereal?
And going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? I don't know. Is that what this is reminding you of?
It's funny you should say that. I would say Fruity Pebbles.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, quite literally, this tastes like Fruity Pebbles.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Now, in the absolute 100% best possible way.
Now, there is a beer from
Greater
Heights called
Fruity Pebbles.
It's it's not exactly Fruity Pebbles. It's
because they would get sued.
Right. It's something, but basically that's what it is. I'm sorry. I had it in my brain a minute ago.
And it's quite delicious.
Yes, it is. This is maybe even more Fruity Pebbles-ish than
the cereal note on the initial part of the palate.
Fruity pellets.
Fruity pellets.
That's what the name of the
pellet.
Yeah. And then the follow-up just tastes like the milk after all the pellets have been soggied into it.
I just want to hold this up so that you can see it in the camera. It's a girl looks like she's gazing dreamily at the stars, a silhouette.
Oh, and it's beer. And it's delicious.
The name of it is, do you guys ever stay up late thinking about DDH DIPA or double dry hop double IPA? That's the
this
name
literally
of the beer.
tastes like if you were to take Fruity Pebbles and pour it into a bowl and soak it in some beer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it gets good and mushy, because I don't know about you, like a lot of people like their crispy cereal, but I don't mind stuff like that getting mushy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't mind at all. I might even wait a little bit. But
snap, crackle, pop.
This is delicious.
Yeah, it really is good.
It's fruity.
These guys have always
outrageous.
released great IPAs.
It's double dry hopped with Citra Rawaka, not Rawonka. Coming in at 8% is really, really good. But this is so strange because it's a double dry hopped IPA. It's so cereal oriented.
It really is.
There's
like
no dank
Pebbles.
to it at all.
It really is like Fruity Pebbles.
It's sweet. It's fruity. It's just fantastic.
I'm trying to look something up real quick.
And the nose on it doesn't even hint to what you're about to taste. Like the amount of sweetness that you get from this might be the sweetest double dry hopped IPA I've ever tried as well. But this is one, if I see this on the shelf, I will buy this again and again.
Well, this is quite good. Evil Twin, these guys have never let us down. They've been the guys that have the longest beer names ever. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me of, and I was trying to look up the artist's name because I couldn't remember his name, but there was an artist. It was an album I bought like back in the late 80s, early 90s, and the album title was one of my favorite album titles of all time. The title of the album would have made a fitting title for an Evil Twin beer because it was called All of the Girls Like to Dance, but Only Some of the Boys Do. That was the name of the album, and I can't for the life of me find it. So maybe it's out of print or something. I don't know, but it was a guy I really liked. He had a song called Praying Mantis. Maybe I can look.
I like this better even when it gets just a touch warmer.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people are that way about IPAs in general, right?
Well, IPAs, I think a lot of people like IPAs cold.
I do. I'm a
like darker beers generally people don't mind them warming up, and in general, like it's recommended that you drink them at a slightly warmer temperature. But this one, as it warms up, and the mouthfeel on this is huge too.
Don Dixon was his name.
Don Dixon.
All of the girls like to dance, but only some of the boys like to. That's a great album, by the way. I think I used to own it on vinyl. Anyway, I'm sorry, but that would be a good title for one of their beers. And their beers always have great titles, but they're also always really, really great IPAs.
Yeah, it's really good.
So yeah, this is almost like breakfast cereal and a beer.
Yeah, I mean it's so cereal forward,
and I like breakfast cereal.
Agreed.
I'm big time digging this.
All right. So this beer gets a thumbs up from me.
Well, I'm glad because I like. So what's interesting, and this is always a challenge to me, right? Because I'm an IPA guy. I like most IPAs, maybe not every single one, but most of them. I'll find a way to like them. You're not that way. You know,
no, I'm that way with porters and stouts,
right? Mm-hmm. But you're not that way with IPAs.
Wines.
So I love bringing in IPAs to the show that I think you may like. Now, I had not tasted this prior to today, but just going on the Evil Twin name and reputation, I thought we had at least a good chance.
There's a little bit of hop snap too on the very end of this that, because it's so far in the background, it almost tastes like spice.
Right, I agree.
It's so interesting because this is unlike any double dry hopped IPA I've ever had. This is unique.
It's a little creamier.
The mouthfeel is creamy. The bubbles on it are small. Mm-hmm. The cereal flavor overall and the fruity pebbly thing is just, seek this out.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys ever stay up late thinking about double dry hop?
Is that something just at HEB or Kroger or one of the places?
I don't know how easy this will be to find in Texas, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you can get it. They're from New York. Obviously, people in New York can get them. Okay. And we can get New York beers here in Texas, but I have not seen this one on the shelf. Yeah. This one I sought out.
I've seen different Evil Twins on the shelf. It's just Evil Twin puts out so many just random things. Like you never know what the heck they're going to do to their beer. They were kind of like, remember how Clown Shoes used to be?
Right. And Clown Shoes is from Maryland. They're from the Boston area. But they have been available here in our state for a while in Texas. But I think you can get them a lot of places. Clown Shoes makes some outrageously crazy beers.
Yes.
They really do, but it's worth it. I don't know if you have gotten into October London's music or not. I really like him because he's one of those super smooth soul R&B guys, and sometimes
I've never heard of this guy.
Sometimes I'm just totally in the mood for this. But he is he's doing a team up with Plasencia Cigars, and
those are great.
And they are doing, and he's been top of the charts R&B guy, right? They're doing the Sip and Smoke Cigar Lounge series. October London says the Sip and Smoke partnership with Plasencia gives me the opportunity to share the same space with those who share my love for premium cigars and my passion for music. I look forward to creating a unique experience with event goers alongside the Plasencia cigar team.
Do they have dates already on that?
Yeah, they do. They have a couple of dates, including one in actually two of them so far in Miami. The VIP tickets are available and then general admission tickets available. But I'm sure these are going to be relatively expensive because it's a small space, only so many tickets available.
Well, you can't have 1,500 people all smoking cigars in one box.
Yep. They'll also be at the Fellowship Cigar Lounge, love that name, on the 27th of September in Atlanta, and on the 20th of October in Dallas, Texas at Cigars on 35.
So, the 20th of October, huh?
Yeah, that could be road trip time. Think how cool that would be. You're just sitting there and he's like serenading you, and you're like, smoke. It's like, obviously when we go to our favorite concerts and stuff, we can't go and just smoke a cigar.
Yeah, it makes it tough.
How cool would that be? I love this idea. October London, you rock. Plasencia, you rock as well.
Oh man, Alma Fuerte.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna get me all excited. This beer would go great with a cigar. Not all IPAs do. This one would. We'll be right back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Yes. Welcome back. It's Smoking and Toasting. Our program is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And speaking of fine spirits, we're about to taste some. While Ian is pouring this special cask Blackened from Metallica and Rob Dietrich, I will tell you that Rocky Patel is lowering prices on the DBS line of cigars.
Those are expensive cigars.
They were introduced in late 2022 when price points started at about $20 per cigar. Mm-hmm. And depending on the size, they're now going down by about $3 to $4 per stick.
Slashing prices.
You would think that $3 to $4 wouldn't make as much difference.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference in the price of that cigar.
Kind of does, especially if
you're $22, $20 to $22.
Yeah.
I mean,
the DBS Robusto was previously $20. It will now be $17. The DBS 60, which is a 6x60 size, previously $23, now $19. And the Rocky Patel DBS Toro, 6.5 by 52, was $21, now $18. And that's suggested retail price, of course.
So I smoked one of those at...
I think both of us did a review on the DBS.
$20. I gave it a solid 5 because, damn, it's a good cigar. But
at $20, though, getting a 5 is...
right. That means if it's $17 now, that might get a 6.
Yeah, we may have to buy one of these discounted DBSs.
I mean, that puts it in Placencia territory because that Almafuerte. Ooh, what a good cigar.
And by the way, the DBS limited edition humidor, which comes with 100 DBS Toros, has gone down from $2,800 to $2,380.
Wow. All right, give me one of those for Christmas.
Not $23.80.
I'm going to get you that cigar that you want for Christmas. You get me that.
Okay, fair enough.
And we'll be good, right?
Fair enough. I think we'll be all right. Retailers were sent a letter about the change. No reason was given in the letter for the new pricing. Now, here's my guess.
Because we've gone crazy.
Here's my guess. I think a lot of more expensive cigars have come out in the last couple of years. And I don't necessarily think that a lot of the $100 cigars are going to go down to where they're, $50 or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of those $100 cigars though are also like charity cigars, right?
Right. And it's like people are going to go and buy one just to say that they did it. Yeah. And it's not going to make much difference if it's $80 versus $100, right? But when you're talking about a cigar that's $20, it's like, would you be a little more likely to pick it up if it's 17? I would.
Look at all those prices that you just named off. Everything that you named off was in about the $20 range that moved it under the $20
well, so
range.
It's
like
the
$19.99
There's a breaking point at $20.
Yeah, exactly. And it brought everything under that.
That's when you go into ultra premium or like whatever you call that range.
I think that was a move on purpose to bring it under the $20
And I'll tell
realm.
you, there are specific cigars that are over $20 that I will buy.
Yeah. But you don't buy them all the time.
No. But like for a special occasion, if I like New Year's, Christmas, tomorrow, I don't mean that, but
Thursday.
That's like sometimes I'm coming up in the elevator at my building and I've gone out and bought like spirits and beers for the show and I've got this box of alcohol, right? And somebody will get on the elevator with me and they'll go, party, special occasion? And I'll always go, yeah. Tuesday. I've noticed, by the way, while I'm talking about $20 cigars, you've been sampling the Blackened special cask.
I call it research, my friend.
Yeah, and what has your research led you to believe, sir?
Deliciousness.
It's a good whiskey.
So Blackened is a good whiskey to begin with. This is, however, this was on sale at Total Wine, by the way.
Yeah,
for $33,
dude.
It's $48 normally. They had it on sale for $33. And I'm going to say maybe it didn't sell as well as they thought or something, but at $33, this is an outrageously good whiskey.
But isn't this a Total Wine barrel pick, right?
Yeah. It's Blackened. It's just a specific barrel of Blackened.
It's really, really good.
I mean, it listened to all the same songs from Injustice for All that all the other barrels listen to.
Did they play it while it was
yes, while it was maturing? Mm-hmm. Yeah. They basically blasted
they
it.
Blare music into it.
By the way,
to vibrate the barrels.
You want to pick up a Blackened whiskey for like $5 or $6 a bottle?
Yes.
That's the one that they blasted St. Anger to while they were. I'm joking. That's not true. You can't pick up.
They put a folding chair right next to it.
I'm just telling you. It's not.
Man. I mean, for $33, that's outrageous for this. This is
this is great for that price.
This is a blend of straight whiskeys finished in black brandy casks, mastered by Dave Pickerel.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic.
Their cigar is outrageously good, too.
It also is good. Now, it's not cheap, but it's not wildly overpriced, but it's good.
No, it's medium priced, but it's also real good at its price. It's been one of my go-tos. I've smoked many of those.
Now, I know we're sampling whiskey, but I promised people we would tell them about the best tequilas under $40. And it's an article from Food and Wine, and it's all Blanco tequila. So I'll start it, and then we'll come back to it in another segment because, of course, Drinking News is next, and we're drinking this whiskey. But Batanga Blanco, Batanga is the first tequila mentioned on the list. Dulce Vida Blanco. And we've had Dulce Vida Añejo on the program, and it was delicious. Have not tried their Blanco. Now, the next one is Espolón Blanco, although I just will tell you, you can get a bottle of Espolón Añejo for around $40 or a little bit less, and it is like That is a great tequila.
Yeah.
Don't know why it's priced that inexpensively, but it is fantastic.
Don't tell them.
La Casa Blanco, Pantalones Blanco Oregonico, which is cool just because its name is Pantalones. Yes.
Pantalones.
And Siempre Plata. I love Siempre tequilas. I've not had the Plata, but I would definitely try it because their añejo is fantastic.
Bob El Sponja de los Pantalones.
Esta lechugue en mi pantalones.
Donde está Casa de Pepe? All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. I don't know what any of those Spanish things we just said mean, but we'll be right back. Oh, nice. You could have fumbled with the bottle cap a little longer.
No,
I like when you do that.
I'll work on my technique.
Welcome back. It is Smoking and Toasting. Our show is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. And we talked about those tequilas under $40. I just want to mention something to you that is a go-to for me. And I use it to make margaritas, but quite frankly, you can sip it too, and it's amazing. It's not even a Blanco. It is a Reposado. It is the El Amo Reposado.
El Amo is quite good.
And I buy the huge bottle for about $45. Bottle.
Yeah.
And because I used to make margaritas, my wife loves margaritas, so we make them a lot. And it's a bottle that, takes you a while to take it down because it's so big. But sometimes if I'm just looking for a good sipping tequila, I'll just pour a little of that and it's great. Now, I've also had their añejo and it's even better. But El Amo, very affordable and very, very awesome. So now, Ian, I know you were pouring our Parapajamas from Firestone Walker. It's such a great name. It's almost as good as the Matthew McConaughey tequila, which is Pantalones. And that is Matthew McConaughey's tequila, by the way.
Wow.
It's Pantalones. And
it's not SpongeBob's.
You got to love him for that. You got to love him for that. But we're going to take a break. Well, not a break, but before.
All right. Pantalones.
Before we get into tasting this, it is time for the most popular segment on our program. It's a little thing we like to call Drinking News.
Drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news. A Florida man with one arm said he had a gator for a pet. When asked about his absent arm, he said,
I had to take my gator to the vet.
Drinking news. Now it's time for drinking news.
Cheers, y'all. Radio legend Rowdy Yates on the Gator to the Vet line.
The guy has a very specific voice, doesn't he?
Awesome. He's so awesome. Drinking News is the segment of the program where we like to bring you a story from the news. It is often, but not always, about drinking, but it is always best enjoyed if you've been drinking. And today we're drinking
I have
blackened special.
Mr. Cotter,
Cask,
pick me.
Mm-hmm. So one of the most amazing things about being alive in today's world is television. That's right, television. Yeah. And I'm not talking about amazingly great shows like Breaking Bad or Yellowstone or Steve Martin's insanely brilliant Only Murders in the Building. I'm talking about the other kind of television.
You know how many of those shows I've seen?
None.
0.
Yeah. And you need to get with the program because they're all amazing. But I'm not talking about those kind of shows. I'm talking about the other kind of television. And you do know what I'm talking about in this case. The kind that reminds you that no matter how bad you may be, there is always, inevitably, someone worse.
Closed caption security footage?
Think you're a little messy around the house? Well, take in an episode of A&E's Hoarders, and you'll feel a lot better about yourself because your crap could actually be cleaned up in an afternoon and without calling in the National Guard.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Think you're a bad parent? Just put on TLC and watch 10 minutes of John and Kate plus 8, and you'll be reserving a spot on your bookshelf for Mom or Dad of the Year trophies by comparison. Or are you like me? And you think you could probably stand to lose an inch or two around the waist? Then check out a show that I just discovered on TLC called 1,000 Pound Sisters.
Oh, you just discovered that.
Yeah.
What?
It's about, and you guessed it, Terry knows this apparently.
Yeah.
Actual sisters.
Yes.
That between the two of them,
They're combined.
weigh about 1,000 pounds.
That's a lot of sister.
Yep.
For those of you doing the math at home, that's somewhere near 500 pounds apiece.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of them, I think, is 6, is what the deal is. And the other one, the skinny one,
Yeah, right.
is 400 some pounds. This is real TV, by the way. I have seen little clips. Yes.
Terry's
hold
a
on.
TV guy, so
I'm going to
surprised.
talk about my own personal revolt here, okay?
Okay, go for it.
MTV years ago came out with a show called The Real Life. Is that
The Real World.
Real World.
It's where it all fell apart. That's where the wheels came off for MTV.
That's 100%
It
true.
was interesting to me for about 3 minutes.
Yes, it was great for the first
until
season.
I realized, okay, so this is drama created to be drama, and no, don't ever think it's not scripted.
Yeah. Oh, and anyone who's been on any of these shows will tell you they're all heavily.
I feel
100%
like they just put them in situations where they know what they're going to say because they don't really have anyone to write stuff.
So
look, I'm a fan of Big Brother.
I kind of stopped watching, and then they started calling it reality TV.
Right.
They started calling it
is not
RV
reality,
version.
and it eats my brain.
I
don't watch it. I
Rules is what it
literally
turned into.
that's when I stopped watching TV.
I will
with
admit
any
to you,
regularity.
I will admit to you that I watch Big Brother. But if you think that Big Brother is anything other than scripted, oh come on, you're kidding yourself.
Oh, dude, what about these Survivor man? He's out there. I'm gonna starve to death. What about the freaking camera crew you got right there in craft services on the table, right behind buddy?
That just sounds like the old Sam Kinison when you're over feeding the starving children. And he says, "But isn't there a director right behind that camera? Just give him a sandwich."
I used to love when he go,
Yeah.
move to where the food is. That was like a great line. But anyway, this particular reality show that I'm speaking of, 1,000 Pound Sisters, is set in Dixon, Kentucky, where it chronicles, reality show style, the adventures of Tammy Slayton and her sister Amy.
Those adventures can't be moving that fast.
As they try to lose weight.
Oh, no.
And submit themselves to weight loss surgeries.
You have to use a scooter.
Now, I know you're probably saying, that show would never last. It was probably canceled after just a few episodes, right?
Oh, sadly.
You'd be absolutely wrong.
Sadly, that's been on for several seasons
1,000 Pound Sisters has been on the air for 5 seasons and has already been renewed for season 6.
Wait a second. Hold on. Now, I get that there's a lot of weight to be lost. So in 5 seasons, how much weight have they lost?
I don't have this information.
Because they're not called 900-pound sisters yet.
Right, exactly. Well, season 6, the network promises will be one of a kind and exceptional. Because for the first time in years, both Slayton sisters will be single. I am breathless with anticipation.
So it's The Bachelor, but a new kind of Bachelor.
Yeah. But listen, something interesting just happened. That if it is included in the series.
So they got this series. Now they're successful. So now they're divorced?
Yeah.
The guys that were married to them.
Yeah. The guys that were married to them that loved them despite their, weight. As soon as they got money, the guys were out of there.
Honestly, I haven't watched the show, so I didn't realize that about that.
Well,
I had no idea that there was someone already in their life.
So you may want to watch now because something interesting just happened.
So now they're going to be dating.
That if it's included in the
Very
series,
slowly.
could make the next season just a little bit more exciting than 2 siblings arguing over whether or not they should have seconds on cake. One of the sisters, Amy Slayton, was arrested in Tennessee over Labor Day weekend, but not before she'd been allegedly bitten by a camel.
It's not
in
random at all.
Tennessee?
It seems
those camels in Tennessee.
It seems that Mrs. Slayton decided to visit the zoo in Alamo, Tennessee. And of course, when she did, she chose to visit only the very best kind of zoo, the kind that you drive through.
Oh, drive-through.
Yeah.
I was going to say petting, but okay.
And apparently, while at the Tennessee Safari Park, she called 911 because she
Run by
claims
Joe Tiger or what?
a wayward camel bit her on the elbow. Eyewitnesses report that this Kentucky woman was seen walking around the zoo's parking lot with a shirt wrapped around her arm before EMS arrived at the scene to treat her. Now, there is some controversy about this alleged camel bite. John Conley, one of the owners of the Tennessee Safari Park, says he thinks Slayton is, and I'm quoting here, full of it. Conley told TMZ, always a reliable news source, Conley told TMZ that she could not have been bitten by one of his camels because the injury was above the elbow, and not indicative of a camel bite. Now, here at Drinking News, we can neither confirm nor deny his assertion because we've never actually examined a camel bite, partly because they are said to be quite rare, and partly because we generally stay the hell away from places that feature camels.
I thought camels spit and kick, right?
Yeah, kick it.
But amazingly, the most interesting part of the story is not the alleged camel bite itself. Apparently, when deputies responded to the 911 call and arrived at the zoo, they were immediately overtaken by, and I'm quoting here, suspicious odors coming from the guest's vehicle, end quote. Slayton, one of the 1,000-pound sisters, was arrested and booked for illegal possession of Schedule 1 and Schedule 6 drugs and 2 counts of child endangerment. Yes, the officers found what they suspected were psychedelic mushrooms and marijuana inside the car, and apparently a couple of neglected kids.
At least you didn't catch my weight loss meth.
Now, here at Drinking News, we do not consider ourselves to be olfactory experts, even though we do try to use our noses when sampling, whiskey and beers and cigars. But the question that must be asked is, how strong does the smell of drugs in your car have to be in order to be detected at a park that's teeming with camel dung? Apparently pretty strong.
It's got a barnyard smell.
Of course, it's not impossible. Yeah, I'm getting barnyard.
How much marijuana does it take to cause a camel to bite?
Yeah. Of course, it's not impossible.
I mean, there's so many questions here.
I feel like someone called the cops, like she called the cops and then sat there and smoked a joint or something, waiting for
listen, it's not impossible.
This is like the dealer calling the cops because the customer ripped them off or something.
I'm just going to sit here and smoke this while the cops
It's not impossible, guys, that the odor of the drugs was so strong that even surrounded by the camels, the deputies were able to detect it. In fact, our crack team of researchers here at Smokin' and Toastin' have once again come through for us and have compiled a list of things that might smell even stronger or worse than the drugs in Amy Slayton's car. And because I apparently have nothing better to do, I'm going to veto all responsible suggestions to keep it to myself and share that with you now in the form of another Drinking News Top 5 list. If I could have a little music, please. This would be the top 5 things that have a worse or stronger smell than drugs in your car. Top 5 things. Number 5, the drugs in Tommy Chong's car.
How about Tommy Chong's car?
Yeah.
That could be number 4.
Yeah, man.
Number 4, Russell Brand. I don't know this firsthand, but have you seen the guy? Just saying. Number 3, Johnny Depp's bed sheets after Amber Heard stayed over. Number 2. Number 2.
She did what on the sheets?
That is the joke that keeps on giving. That's all I have to say. Number 2, Britney Spears shoes. Now, don't hate on me or tell me to leave Britney alone. It's a real thing. Google it.
It's okay.
Britney
She
Spears
doesn't wear much
shoes.
anything most of the time anyway.
And the number 1 thing that has a worse or stronger smell than drugs in your car, number 1, camels. Freaking camels. Reporting live from the parking lot at Tennessee Safari Park.
Camels have a very distinctive smell, right?
Reporting live from the parking lot at Tennessee Safari Park, where I'm trying to enjoy a cigar, but all I'm getting is notes of camel poop and crystal meth. My name is Cruz, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your
Drinking News. Drinking News. Now it's time for Drinking News.
Cheers, y'all. I wonder how a pair of pajamas smells on the nose.
Parapajamas.
Oh man, this is wonderful on the nose. I don't know whose pajamas these are.
It's pretty darn good.
But wow, Firestone Walker, known for their amazing, seasonal brews. This is their 2024, I believe, 2024. Yes, 2024 Parapajamas. It is an Imperial milk stout with cocoa, vanilla bean, and marshmallow. And what are you finding out from the box there, sir?
Well, you just pretty much said it all.
Okay, well, now I'm going to drink it then. Let's see what it tastes like.
A distinctively delicious stout loaded with rich chocolatey flavors and a subtle kiss of vanilla and marshmallow sweetness.
Okay, you know where, when you're out for like dinner and they come around with the dessert menu and you tell them, I'm just going to drink my dessert. Mm-hmm. This is the dessert you want to drink. It's pretty good. Absolutely wonderful. Firestone Walker, these guys know what they're doing. So this may be one of the best Firestone Walker beers I've ever tasted.
Yeah, it's particularly good. There's a little bit of bitterness to it too.
But it's almost like a dark chocolate bitterness.
Right. But it's right up front. And it's so interesting because you get that marshmallowy finish that's just there. It's so good.
Oh, when we come back, we're going to talk about going back to the Blackened whiskey after you've had a little bit of the Parapajamas. We'll be right back. It is Smoking and Toasting. We are back. It's Smoking and Toasting. And welcome back to our program, which is all about craft beer, fine spirits, and hand-rolled cigars. Camels. Freaking camels.
Yeah. And we're not talking about the cigarettes.
No. Camels are not pleasant creatures. That's all I have to say. You always see on those videos of crazy people fails on YouTube. There's always like people that are trying to feed the camel through the window of their car at the drive-through zoo, and then the camel like takes the whole thing and then spits it back at him. It's like they're not pleasant.
There's a
animals.
Shel Silverstein poem called "They Put a Brazier on the Camel."
Oh, I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, I don't have it memorized.
You'll have to quote it on the program.
It does exist.
I like Shel Silverstein. I do also.
I mean,
really,
he did write Boy Named Sue.
Really, really like this. This Parapajamas, this Firestone Walker beer. This is incredible. Now, obviously you've had it. Have you gone back to the whiskey yet? I have. It turns the whiskey into an absolute chocolate bomb. Mm-hmm. And makes it almost, I don't know, smoother. Yeah, it almost takes all the burn, all the heat out of it. Not that it was a major heat bomb to begin with, but it just mellows the heat of it just a little bit and almost makes it like I don't know, this whole thing is very candy-like. We've had a lot of candy-like stuff on the show today, including the IPA, but that was Fruity Pebbles. This is Cocoa Pebbles right here.
Yeah, exactly. When you go back to it, you just taste it. It tastes more marshmallowy.
Yeah, this is really outstanding. Like, I find myself wishing, I bought one of these to bring on the show. I find myself wishing I had several more of them to savor at home. Yes, sir.
They've put a brazier on the camel.
Okay.
She wasn't dressed proper, They've put a brazier on the camel so that her humps wouldn't show. And they're making other respectable plans. They're even insisting the pigs should wear pants. They'll dress up the ducks if we give them the chance, since they've put a brazier on the camel.
Wow.
They've put a brazier on the camel. They claim she's more decent that way. They've put a brazier on a camel. The camel had nothing to say. They squeezed her into it. I'll never know how. They say she looks more respectable now. Lord knows they've got in mind what they've got in mind for the cow. So they put a brazier on a camel.
Yeah, so that's really good and kind of very fitting with what's going on in the world today, where people are trying to ban books and do thought police stuff and all of that. Like, so I'm totally down with that. And I would just say that it's very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Shel Silverstein is thought-provoking.
I've always loved Donald Duck, and largely because he didn't wear pants. They saw appropriate to put him in some kind of a coat.
Yes. Yeah. He always wore a coat.
Yeah, but no pants. Yeah. Pantsless Donald Duck.
But ducks don't need pants.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
I suppose that's true.
Mice need pants, apparently.
Yeah. I would hate to see Fievel without a pair of drawers.
And
on.
Cats don't need pants. Cats don't need to wear anything at all.
Yeah. Except a really swashbuckling hat if they're Puss in Boots.
That's right.
Well,
that's right.
Dogs can wear pants if you're Goofy, but you don't have to if you're Pluto. So think about that.
That is true.
That's very interesting.
See, we asked the tough philosophical.
Did I tell you guys about the time I went to the zoo and it was awful? Yeah, the only animal they had was one dog. It was a Shih Tzu. I mean, the whole. I hope I didn't just get us kicked off of some of our affiliates.
Because you said Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu. I'm sorry.
Shih Tzu
is the correct pronunciation.
God bless you.
I'm sorry. At least I waited till the end of the show because by now no one is still listening to Smoking and Toasting.
There's your bonus.
At least that's what.
There's your bonus for the day.
That's what I figure. So okay, so a couple things we have to reinforce here. The Blackened whiskey, it's good, just regular old Blackened. This barrel pick, this cask pick, is even better.
Yeah, it's a little bigger. It's a little chocolatier. And I don't know what the proof is on it. I didn't even look at that, but it feels slightly overproof too.
Yeah, maybe a little. I don't think
I didn't look at the proof at it. It's 3/4 of the bottle finished, but I never looked at the proof at
it. Why would you want to mess up your enjoyment of the first 3/4 of the bottle by looking at the proof? Does it say?
Doesn't say anywhere.
Yeah.
But it has a little pick-shaped area where it says exclusive batch store pick playlist.
Oh, yeah. So apparently if you buy this whiskey, you can scan the QR code and it'll take you to a playlist, which I'm guessing is all Metallica. But
I would hope, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Ian will scan it for us.
Scan it for us now and see
he'll do the honors. Meanwhile, Parapajamas.
Put me in, Coach.
If you can find this at your local beer establishment, you got to get this. This is one of the best stouts I've ever had. It's just absolutely so well balanced between the marshmallow and the coconut and the cocoa. And it's just, vanilla bean. It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Wow, it's good. This is enough to make me,
when you got to scroll back for the year that you were born.
Yeah.
And then you have to flip your thumb another time.
No, I hate that. I hate that.
Back in 1900s.
You know what that is? That's age discrimination.
That's right.
That's what that is.
If you were born in 2000,
I don't see the list
now.
I don't see the list of what they played.
Oh, no.
Does it just take you to a Metallica site of some sort?
No, it takes it to the Blackened whiskey site. And
Well, this is definitely not in a jarro. This is a wonderful, wonderful.
They have a
whiskey.
rye that just come out too. I haven't tried.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And the Beyonce whiskey is supposed to be very very much leaning in the right direction too.
Is there a date for one that's about to come out?
I think it may be just hitting stores now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me
or a price point even.
Let me do a little search here. Beyonce whiskey. There's going to be a gazillion things that come up. Although interestingly, when I type Beyonce and then space, the first thing Google gives me is Beyonce whiskey. Wow. Looks like it is. So Sir Davis American. First couple of prices I see are $84 and $89. Then I see.
Okay, so not outrageous, but very pricey.
Yeah. Pricey, but not outrageous. And it is Sir Davis American whiskey, founded by Beyonce. Yeah, it looks like it's about an $85 bottle.
And sourced in Indiana, so that's
right
GMP product.
And it is a blended whiskey.
Blended whiskey.
But supposedly it leans more on the malt side than most ryes. So that should be interesting. I'm excited to taste it. We'll get us a bottle of it and taste it here.
We're going to have to get corporate to buy us that.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think corporate can afford that. I think we may have to get Terry to buy us that. Is what I'm thinking. Wow, fun show today. Great stuff. I'm so excited about Parapajamas. I can barely contain myself.
It's so good.
It's just so amazingly good. The Blackened whiskey was great. The IPA was unbelievable. What fun. Thank you guys for joining us for this little celebration we call Smoking and Toasting. Some great shows on the horizon, which we will tell you about soon. Thank you for being a part of our program here. We appreciate it. Have a great week and
cheers, y'all.
Come on. You're such a sweet